welcome back to my channel. My name is Felicia. If you do not know me, I am a human and civil rights advocate, and I run a nonprofit called Divas Can Manifest that sponsors this free tarot channel and makes this information accessible to all. Check the description box down below to get in contact with me, to see more about what we have going on in the organization, to book personal readings, to follow my lifestyle diaries, to get in touch with our portal energies through divine feminine activations, our portal energies. So 1212 portal is coming up, as well as 111 portal, and so much more happening over at Exo Felicia YouTube diaries. We are there every week with weekly sadhana. We just started chakra alignment yoga. Get Me Body Series 4 is over on Exo Felicia live every Sunday at 8:08 a.m. So let's get into today's pick a card reading. Today we have three piles for you to choose from. We're getting into a realization video, so realizations can be very triggering. It is the external process of people around you becoming aware of something about you as a fact, and the internal process of you becoming aware of a heart-centered truth. So it is a precarious, dynamic, delicate dance as you realize something as a truth, and as everyone around you realize something as the highest expression. So for the first pile, we have the crown. Pile 2, you are the kiss with the lipstick, and pile 3, you are the bow. Let's get into it. Choose whichever one is calling you, and I'll see you in the next one. Hi, pile 1. Welcome to your selection. So you chose the crown. Okay, so let's pull a significator. What are people realizing about you as a fact? Okay, as a highest expression. Okay, somebody's name, the first two letters of their name could be SA. Someone is realizing some type of crown that you have. I don't know, these could be strangers, or maybe these are people on their social media accounts. This is like first time. This feels like first impressions of you. A lot of these could be first impressions, or a lot of you are having first impressions of these people who are realizing things about you. I'm getting that a lot of what people are realizing is actually happening, is going unseen. So these could be a lot of invisible enemies, a lot of shadow attachments, a lot of people who have found you or who have seen you in passerby, on social media, and they have grown an obsession and an attachment to you when they saw that you had some type of crown. Okay, when they saw that you had a crown from a man, or when they saw that you had a career, or that you were at your peak performance, that you have been reaching the highest level of achievement in your particular career path. These people grew a shadow attachment to you. Okay, so let's see. What are people realizing about you, pile 1? Okay, we have the heatedness. Okay, people, again, this could be first impressions, but I definitely feel like, especially it's so beautiful coming out in the light aspect, people are realizing how beautiful you are. It's like your creative energy is like they're watching your creative energy, and they're watching you delight in the good things in life. You're celebrating the beauty within yourself and your beautiful life and your beautiful experience. Some of you guys are definitely the gazelle spirit, but what people are realizing about you, what we're realizing about you is a beautiful life, and people are realizing the good things around you. Maybe people are watching you eat a lot of fruit. There's something about your kitchen. Some of you guys are actually commercial chefs, or you work in the culinary arts, or you're just really interested in maybe nutrition, food and agriculture, and they see that you're over here delighting in these natural good fruits and foods, and they know that that's why you're so beautiful, is because of the quality of the food that you eat. Oh my god, LOL. I'm hearing something with people, these may be people who don't have as good of a diet as you, they don't have as good of a nutrition as you, and when they see your round hips and small waist and flat stomach and clear skin and long bellowing hair, they just know that you have a better diet, a better fitness routine, better wellness, better agriculture. They know that you have good things in your life. So people can sense just by how you look that you have good things in your life. Your beauty and the complexion that you have, your hair, the way that you dress yourself, and how your form is very proportional. Your physical form is very proportional, and like a lot of you guys have a really natural body as well, and people, when they just know that it's a result of good diet, grapes and pineapples and oranges and mangoes, and then they know that these people are really just concerned with your beauty. Some of these people are shadow attachments that saw your beauty and good life, and they know that this privilege of wellness and beauty has also allowed you to have a lot of creative energy as well. I think that a lot, because you have this crown, Power One, these realizations can make you also are coming into the realization of this truth. And I think that, especially if you are a siren becoming fully embodied at Divas Can Manifest org, you will not really see your beauty, especially if you are a natural beauty. The media and technology has people brainwashed into these images of beauty, idolatries, or there is like, your beauty is a rare beauty, and there's a lack of representation of your beauty. So this could be very siren-like as well, is that you're going through life perhaps, and you're not really realizing, or you're not really aware of your of your beauty and how rare it is, and how people have this visceral reaction to your beauty when they see you. Even when you're not feeling your best, your beauty is captivating, alluring, and mesmerizing. You radiate the beauty, like your beauty radiates the frequency of wealth, and they see that like everything around you, it's not just like your features or some type of standard of beauty that makes you beauty, like a characteristic or like objectifying an aspect of your beauty. It's about how everything comes together. It's your aura, it's the way that you dress yourself, it's your hair. Some of you guys, even if it's fake hair, the way that you choose your hair, and they see that you are just you. It just all is a representation of the good things in life, and you delighting in that, and you having a peaceful and serene life. Okay, and they see that everything that you touch is beautiful, and everything that you touch turns to gold. People are really saying that you're magical, or that you made it, you got a crown, or you like something where you manifested a crown, or you were gifted a award, and people are realizing your awards, they're realizing your rewards and recognition, they're realizing your crown, they're realizing the good things in your life, and the beautiful things about you. Okay, and some of you guys, I don't know if I fleshed this out, but I just definitely feel like, especially strangers, you might not even really like, you might not have full awareness of these realizations. A lot of this is unseen. A lot of this is not represented in the media, not represented enough. So that's why people have these visceral reactions to you, is because you're such a rare beauty in your culture or in your environment, or this level of health and beauty. It's such a wealth frequency that all of these mundane, conventional, and mentally ill people who are more than likely struggling with some type of addiction, it's reflected back to them in a very stark and shocking way. and you literally floor people with your creative energy and the good things in your life, even if it's strangers and you're just like, why are you acting so weird about me just existing? It's because they just are floored that you even exist, period. Especially like if you're a black girl, everyone's surprised that the beautiful black girls were able to survive this long with all this subversive activity and all this covert racism and discrimination embedded in your systems, all the systemic oppression and things of that nature. It's just be shocking to see you still existing, Fran, okay? Shocking to see you still existing, okay? LOL. What are people realizing about you? Power 1. We have coherence. The frequency of coherence supports our ability to harmonize the frequency of the heart with the frequency of the mind for an optimal ability to create the reality that we desire. People are realizing the optimal reality that you have created for yourself. People are realizing that your mind and your heart came together in a beautiful symphony of life, and that your reality is what you desire. And I think that, like, especially if you're dealing with weirdo people, or you're just afraid of stalking and harassment, or people like their reactions to you, this realization could make you feel unsafe. And these people who, these addicts and mentally ill people around you, when they have the realization that you're in an optimal reality, that they will become health and safety threats. They will become shadow attachments. Like, this is like, I'm really enforcing this one. It's like, you really do need to be discreet, or some of you guys really do need to play stupid in a situation where, when people realize that you particularly, something about you, especially if you are a siren, when people realize that you have a harmonization of the heart and the mind, and that your reality is what you desire, that means that you're in emotional satisfaction, you're happy, you're contented, and you're not struggling with these psychological disorders and emotional wild emotional mood swings that they're having. You're too busy flourishing is what I'm hearing. I'm hearing something where you're flourishing, blooming, going through a major metamorphosis. And some of you, this was after you received a crown, and they see that your life is just beautiful after this, okay? So it makes people, I think that, you'll feel a little bit of guilt, because you'll see all of these people around you, as they realize the frequency of your wealth and beauty. It will make them health and safety threats, or it will make them feel really bad about themselves. Like, they will definitely, start making all kinds of excuses as to why they're not successful, or as to why they don't have good things in their life, as to why they're not crowned, as to why they don't have a partner that is devoted to them, as to why they don't have creative energy. They'll keep projecting you, or they'll keep hopping on the think pieces about you. A lot of these people, they will have a lot of different reactions that you may not have been prepared for one. But for two, you also learn, like, you'll feel guilty because you know that these people are truly the Three of Swords. These people are truly heartbroken when they realize this beauty that you have. And this is a common hardship of the world. It is really unfortunate, for you, but you were born this way, and don't feel guilty for making good decisions to have health and beauty. Do not feel guilty for having a creative energy, which is a privilege that some people feel like they don't have. Don't feel guilty for having privileges, especially for some of you guys who have moved your way through society, moved your way up in social classes. You most definitely don't need to feel guilty for having health and beauty. 100% of the black people don't need to feel guilty for having health and beauty. We don't care how uncomfortable it makes some privileged lady feel when they see those childbearing hips, or when they see you just happy. They'll realize that even this oppressed, marginalized person has been able to be successful and create a reality that they desire, and I'm just here living some mundane, conventional life, or failing miserably at something. Don't also feel, don't also feel bad for, the other people within your cultural group that don't have it as good as you, right? Clearly you are a chosen one, friend. Okay, so don't feel good about getting rewards and recognition. Don't feel bad about, having an education. Don't feel bad about having a better life than somebody. Especially, this could also be a romantic partner, or an ex, or somebody that didn't work out because you realized that they were growing uncomfortable or discomfortable when they realized that you were, successful, had an education, have a career, that you have a reality that you desire. It makes them feel like a failure at life because they were not able to create. Like, a lot of these people, wherever they are, you might feel, when you see the shadow aspect wash across their face, they can't even control their reaction to your beautiful aura that radiates beauty and the frequency of wealth. When you see it, friend, don't feel guilty about having shit. Okay, don't feel guilty, right? Especially the privileged people and the people of the dominant cultural group. Their shadow washes over their face to remind them of their micro transgressions and, their ancestry's transgressions, and getting to the root of their conflict and oppression, and how you have not been obstructed. It will make people mad. Okay, it breaks their heart, and you just know that this is not your fault. That's a personal problem. You do not take responsibilities for somebody else's lack in life. Okay, because a lot of you guys are coming from the same lack, okay? Or you've worked really hard to recover from mental illness. And, people are, like, a lot of people don't, the reason why you should not feel guilty is because a lot of people at face value will not know your history. They won't, you might see this beautiful life now, but some of you guys have really went through trial and tribulations, hells and high waters, and people will not know this about you and just see you now radiating the frequency of, your beauty, radiating the frequency of wealth, and your aura is just, you can't miss it. Just remind yourself that this is a stranger and give them the grace, and just help, just hold compassionate space that, that you I think what also, pause. I think what also can be weird in this dynamic is, they'll know that you're aware. They'll know that you are socially engendered. Like, you have a empathy that's socially engendered, like an awareness that was socially engendered. They know that you have gone through the refinement process, especially if you're from a marginalized community, identity. They will know that you have gone through a refinement process. So it's even more awkward and embarrassing for you to witness their reaction, or for you to realize their reaction to your life. So, and for you guys, especially because you have this crown, especially if you're dealing with unseen forces, people who are tethered to you in a shadow attachment of pain and shame, they're just secretly watching you, stalking you. A lot of these people, it might feel like, these realizations, that they're occurring, and that people are having these reactions, and it just makes it kind of is so dampering and raining on the parade that a lot of people are, they'll see you, and your whole entire life is it illuminates so much. You bring stark realizations, you bring high voltage understandings, okay? And these are this is unfortunate that it is like this, that you have to be the teacher, that you have to be the person that, sets an example for everyone, especially because you have this crown, friend. So we have karmic loop, risk taking, okay? So, these realizations, I feel like people, they know that they're getting left behind in life. They know that they're not as successful in life, especially like you marginalized people, cultured people. Um, they'll know that like everyone is in a karmic loop. They're always dealing with some unconscious behavioral pattern that is stopping them from harmonizing the frequency of their heart and the frequency of their mind to create it, to create the reality that you desire. In order to like this, freeing yourself from karmic loops involve taking risk and challenges. Like, people don't know a lot of these risks that you're having to take, and they know that this is what has helped you grow stronger, and this is what has helped you dissolve spiritual and psychic blocks to remove these karmic loops and get the reality that you desire. Some of you guys, the reality was this crown. The reality was where you received the highest honor for your beauty, where you are successful, whatever you met, some type of goal or something like that, or they just know that you had a vision in your mind, and you took those risks to free yourself from the karmic loops and unconscious behavioral patterns that were preventing you from having the reality that you desire. Like, this could even be the karmic loop of bad eating habits. Some of y'all are really eating too much dairy, and so, or people have watched you get control of a diet, or they've watched you stick to a fitness routine, and they've watched you grow stronger over time, and that this clearly did not happen overnight. So don't ever feel guilty for having this reality that you have now, where you worked so fucking hard to have it. You took so many risks to be here, right? They know that you've uncovered mysteries. They know that you've revealed secrets. They know that you have engendered the social awareness that most of these unconscious zombie apocalypses are walking around here with today. They are truly, it truly is a heartbreaking situation when people realize your beauty, and you realize them realizing your beauty, and you just are looking at them with this awareness, or with this secret, or with these risks, these secrets that you have, where you took all these risks to have this reality. And you're like, that's a beautiful aspect of me that I took on those challenges. That's a beautiful aspect, that's a beautiful aspect of you to take on those challenges, to take those risks. A lot of people, they see you, what people are realizing is that, like, they're seeing you having fun. They're seeing you playing around. They're seeing it's playtime in this bitch. They're seeing, they're seeing that, like, maybe they're even seeing that now that you have this optimal reality that you desire, that you have a lot of time to like play around. And they're saying that they just keep finding you playing around and delighting in this good life that you built for yourself. And now you just sit on display and tell everybody about, like, maybe you're even sharing all these stories about risks that you've taken, or maybe you're not telling people. They're just realizing that you have secrets, or that you're not sharing everything. These could even be strangers, where you put up strong boundaries with people. You're not letting them see everything, especially because some of you guys are still in this risk-taking state. And to scare money don't make no money, friend, pal one. Okay, so they know that you are not sharing the secrets and the risks that you've taken. You're not letting them know all of your challenges. All they see is you being beautiful and having this beautiful life where you get to play around. Okay, and don't feel guilty, because you don't have to tell anybody about your challenges, or what type of risk that you're taking. And in order to protect your securities, and that people will become obsessed with you, because they know that you have the capability, you have the optimal ability to create the reality that you desire. They become shadow attachments. And a lot of people, their hidden motive is they will find some type of incentive to obstruct you, to stop you, to steal something from you. A lot of people steal your belongings and steal your partners and try to steal so much from you, because they know that you have the reality that you desire. And I feel like now that people are realizing that after taking all these risks and nurturing your inner child, especially like risk taking is, I'm not going to say it's an aspect of nurturing your inner child, but it's a, addressing a Peter Pan syndrome, perhaps, where you have to grow up and be responsible, and you know that like in order to have this reality, you have to stop, you know, sitting around like a helpless child and do something for yourself. And people know that, you know, a lot of these people are just sitting around looking helpless, and they're watching you have this fun life, and they know that it is a reality that you desire, especially if you're older in age or you're middle age. You know, some of you, if they maybe have watched your graduation or watched you boss up, they've watched your achievements over your life, and you just like they've watched you heal a psychic and spiritual block, where there was maybe even a wounding from your childhood, right? And now you're like, I'm not gonna let those inner child wounds bully me, and you know, because I'm sitting here so beautiful with all these crowns and rewards and recognition now. Okay, yeah, Pisces. This person's name can start with the letter J or letter A. You know, yeah, I'm definitely getting that people watched you. They watched you take an intuitive approach to creating this reality. They know that it was risk taking. You know, following your intuition is risk. Okay. And like I told a lot of people before, especially the tarot reader that has been committing crimes against me, is that your intuition or some type of psychic and spiritual practice is not a predicament for powers that you should be utilizing in all aspects of your life. And so a lot of them, you know, a lot of people have watched you not know what was coming next, and have taken intuitive and psychic steps that have literally just been you chasing your dream and just taking those risks to chase your dream. And now they're seeing that you didn't share your secrets and how this vision came to life, how this dream came true. And you know, this realization is pissing people off, that you're not sharing your, you know, secrets. They know that you have secrets. You're like, I'm not telling you shit, right? I'm not telling you how to break free from a karmic loop. I'm not telling you how I got this beautiful life, because you know, it's clear that most of you don't want me to have it. Especially like, you know, when you see first of all, does it inspire you to share your secrets with people? When you just see so many strangers pissed, like people invisible that you don't even know, just pissed, watching you with your crown from the sidelines, just pissed at you for being a person, you know, exercising their, you know, liberties, human and civil rights, and their like rights to pursue their happiness. Like, they see that, you know, that was like you didn't get caught up in some type of oppression or some type of limitation, and that you took risk and broke free, friend. They see you broke free, and this was a lot of inner child healing, okay? And a lot of you guys have healed so many rejection issues as well, or it was just something that you unblocked. They see that it harmonized everything, okay? They see that your life is the reality that you desire, and they feel very prideful about that. Like I was saying, yeah. Even some, like I was going before, lovers. Some lovers are seeing you. What was I going to say? Some lovers are seeing you. From the past, I'm hearing that they got caught in a karmic loop, or when they realized that you have the reality that you desire, you know, they became very egoic about that. It was these are really hard realizations, because some of these people, they will try to attack your physical appearance. They will try to attack your securities. They're obsessed with your feet and your hands. They're obsessed with your face and your hair. And you know, if they see you playing or laughing, it's like something where they're watching you, you know, watching your limbs, or they're watching your playfulness, your expressions of happiness. They're watching you doom scroll, LOL. They could be watching you, but they're watching you having, you know, eating. They'd be watching you eat something good, and they just feel like, you know, you tame their wild ego and what they thought that, like, what they expected your life to be like. And you let them know, like with the Queen of Swords, that your life is exactly what you want it to be. And a lot of them, when they realize that you're the Ten of Cups, they realize that they're, especially if this is an ex, somebody that you left behind, you know, they watched you grow stronger after leaving them, or after they took a risk on the relationship. I'm hearing they took a risk and they got caught in a karmic loop, and this risk made them reverse in life. I mean, this person, the reason why they're sitting there prideful is because they watched you, they literally watch you after they made a poor decision, they took a risk, and they reversals of fortune, decelerations, reversals in their healing journey. Some of them went back to an ex and took a risk with you, or they left in an obscure way, or some type of they did something. Maybe they were the ones that had secrets, or they helped you. They didn't want you to move on in your life. So some of them didn't. They left in a way that prevented you from having psychological closure, and they see that you were able to reach coherence anyway. That you were revealed the holy secret. That you were, through your dream interpretations and your memories of the past, you got a vision within your mind and took intuitive and psychic steps to create this 10 of cups happily ever after. And whoever was the karmic challenges, whoever were the people who were not showing up in the reality, that they were a detriment to your health, they were shadow attachments, indulging at your expense, they literally watched you grow stronger, take some risk, grow stronger, and leave them behind. And they're so prideful and egoic about that. Like, they can't believe that you were able to achieve this, okay? Especially for some of you guys, this was somebody committing crimes against you. They didn't want you to have beautiful things. They didn't want you to have a reality that you desire. Some people made a karmic decision to, I'm hearing that they made a karmic decision to commit crimes to you, or they supported somebody who was committing crimes, and they watched you create your optimal reality anyway. That was a huge shit in the face. They see that your crown remained intact, and it was never shit that they can do. Like, you can literally start World War V in this bitch, and you will never have this crown. Power one, thank you. Let me know how that resonates, and I'll see y'all in the next one. How to welcome to your selection. So you chose the lipstick kiss. Let's get into what people are realizing about you. Oh my gosh. I'm hearing this person is a Scorpio, Cancer, Pisces. Okay. What are people realizing about you, pal, too? What are people realizing about you? I'm hearing they recently got a spiritual insight to dissolve a blockage. Okay, so let me see. We have the monk. Okay, so people can realize that you're always, that you have a lot of negative judgments. Okay, I don't want to say, since it came out in the light aspect, I don't want to say that this is excessive, but people realize that your spirit is intact, okay? And the reason why you could be having these negative judgments of the physical world is because you can see so clearly that their spirit and their psyche is in these spirit parts. These people who are realizing things about you, they feel very judged by you. They feel very, very judged by you because you represent such a big dedication to something. They're watching something, they're realizing something that you stay very dedicated to. And they see that they're realizing some type of growth or progress that you've had because you've been very dedicated to it. And this could be like, I don't know, something where this could be a weight loss journey. This could be tackling some type of challenge in your life that people did not like, that it takes a big dedication, and it takes you maybe even facing some rejection, facing some backlash, facing some negative judgments, or some irrational people's I'm hearing insulting and bashing and trying to embarrass and humiliate you. And your spirit is, for you to be having this progress means that, like, you've had to integrate a big shadow aspect such that you remain your spiritual conviction. I don't know what this could be. Let me know in the comments if you want to share. But this is like they're seeing the progress related to something that you have been very dedicated to and devoted to, and that represents a strength in your spirit. Okay, so what are people realizing about you, pal? Pal 2, consciousness. People are realizing that you are conscious and that you have an awareness. Maybe you even express something to them, or you make it clear that you're passing a negative judgment, which means that you have a consciousness around something. When you have the ability to pass a judgment, then especially when you express a negative judgment, that means that you focused your attention on some multi-dimensional aspects of something and pulled from your spiritual realm something that, like, or you discern something from the spiritual realm that wasn't intact within somebody's spirit, okay, was not intact within somebody's reality, or you were able to see that there's, you know, they had varied emotions, or disparate, you know, varied emotions and disparate psyches, and that was what was preventing them from showing up in the reality that made sense. I don't know what happens to you, pal, too, but it feels like you're a lot of what you deal with is a lot of irrationality, and that you might feel very overwhelmed or like you're in a zombie apocalypse. But I think that you need to be seen. You need to be seen. You need to be heard. You need to be experienced, because you are a breath of fresh air. To be truthfully honest, you coming around is something about the way that you communicate or express yourself, or it's the way that you judge a situation. They know that your spirit is intact, and that you have a set of beliefs and values, and you have just had this single-mindedness, that doesn't allow you to that doesn't leave room for you to deviate, or they see that you have, I don't know how to say it, but it just feels like they know that you have went through an internal journey about something. To be passing a judgment in the first place, they know that you have gone through a matter of honing your beliefs and values, and you know what you like and what you don't like, or something like that. Or they see that, like, these, I don't know, you might not even be saying anything, and these are causing like realizations, because it's like something where they'll watch you focusing on something, and they know that it is something related to your spirit, okay? Whatever you're focusing on, they know that it represents a spirit that holds a conviction that is a positive judgment. To be truthfully honest, like, you have the correct judgment, and even if it's a negative judgment, that means that you cast your negative judgment on something and make them feel embarrassed, make them feel like they shouldn't be doing something. Maybe they look at you and be like, oh, that's just a monk, or that's just a nun, or this really religious and righteous person that's looking down on me, right? You make these people feel very judged, because you're so devoted, selfless, and dedicated. You know what I'm saying? So it'd be hard, friend. All eyes are on you. Yeah, you're totally like the it girl, the it boy. You're like the center of attention. A lot of people are watching you get a lot of flowers, lots of gifts, lots of rewards. They're watching you get cherished, praised. Some of you, they're watching you with a disability, or they're watching you have a lot of consciousness, a lot of awareness around your disabilities, or your, or just like you have a lot of awareness around the physical world and how you haven't been chasing the sex, money, and power, friends. You know what I'm saying? You have a lot of consciousness around them, around that. There's a lot of people are realizing that you're divine feminine, and that's why all eyes are on you, okay? Divine feminine is... You are creating a portal, okay? You, as divine feminine energy, you are a portal. And so, of course, all eyes are going to be on you, because your vision is unfolding. Something that was once intangible is becoming tangible for you. There's an opening. As divine feminine, your beauty, your natural beauty and divine feminine energy have led to an unexpected opening, and this has just like totally raised everybody's consciousness. So you are, you are raw as hell is what people are realizing about you. Something that you've done has been very raw, okay, with this consciousness, okay, especially something where people are watching your relationship to children. I mean, they're watching your relationship to children, or they're watching you teach children. Maybe you are a teacher, or you're dealing with a lot of people who act like they don't know no better, but if they grown, then they old enough to know better, okay? So a lot of you, they know that a lot of these children are going to have a obsession with, they know that a lot of these children are going to have an obsession around your beauty, looks, and style, and you're over here with the consciousness and saying, stop being attached to my sex, money, and power, my beauty, looks, and style, because this is a selfless devotion and dedication to my spirit, okay? Something that you're doing. What are people realizing about you? We have the First Amendment, okay, your freedoms of speech, excuse me, your freedom of speech, your press is what I'm hearing. Something about your press, news publications, publishings, your information. They're searching for a lot of information. So with Gemini energy, these are people who are listening to you talk a lot, or they're just like, they see that people are realizing that you're searching for information and intellectually inclined. They definitely are knowing, like, people, all eyes are on you. You are like the life of the party, and I'm hearing something where people are seeing you making so many social connections, and even through all these social connections, they see that you have a dedication to your spirit, and you pass a judgment on people if they don't know how to socialize properly, or something like that. People are realizing, all eyes on you, especially like as divine feminine energy, opening this portal, you being the pioneer of making something tangible that was once intangible through the sacral chakra. They're watching you as a leadership to these children, and have been on the psychic advantage with these children. So, they know that, like, they feel like a lot of your behavior is so changeable and unpredictable, and it's because this is really you reflecting back to them in an assertive way. These outer worlds, I'm getting that these are a lot of children that watch you a lot, and they watch you because you're intellectual and you have the consciousness to guide them. But a lot of them, they watch you because you are their guide, but they're also like in secret competition with you. I'm hearing children, people who they clearly don't have, they're clearly not respected because they're children, y'all. But it's something where you still need to be on the psychic advantage with them, because there may be something where they'll try to, they might try to inhibit your press, or they might try to inhibit your freedom, or something where they might disagree with your religion or your lifestyle in some type of way, but they know that you have, something where they might have grievances, and they'll choose not to honor the relationships. I'm hearing social connections, or people who are children just watching you because you have the consciousness that they need, especially helping them address their freedoms. But they'll try to use they'll try to use how you're liberating them as a vessel for a secret competition. And it's like, because they're not well versed enough, and they're just around searching for information, or it's like something where you might give them a lot of confusing information as well, or you're just like, it's nothing that they can do with your information. Is their kids, and they don't have the consciousness, or they don't have the like freedoms and liberties that you have through the First Amendment, and it doesn't make sense for them to do this. But you're still, you're still on the psychic advantage to be on the safe side, okay? Yeah, these are a lot of people who, they see you're with Sagittarius energy. They realize your truth-seeking, broad-minded approach to life, and they know that these are children who don't do any work. Okay, they don't do any work. They don't know how to, or these are very immature adults that need like behavioral health support. But a lot of what you'll deal with is like a lot of children that they'll have a grievance with you and try to be in a secret competition or do something, where you'll need to stay on the advantage about. Especially like with the constantly changing nature of the cosmic multiverse. A lot of these people, they just will have an issue with your freedom of speech. They'll have an issue with your press. They'll have a grievance with your establishment. Okay, these people will have a grievance with your establishment. Okay, so this is why you're on the psychic advantage, but they're so codependent on you for clarity and understanding, because you're the one that has the consciousness and the liberties, and you're the one that does all the work to seek the truth. And you're just like, that they'll have like, they're just losers that won't work for themselves. Okay, yeah, people are realizing your spirituality, and they just, with this Neptunian energy, I'm getting that these are a lot of children, or they act like children, that they'll have, they keep escaping responsibility, and projecting onto you, okay, because you're the life of the party. It's like they'll keep making you the reason as to why they're not successful, but, you're just in this, like, because you're the life of the party, right? They'll be like, oh, well, I'll never be able to compare to the life of the party anyway, so I'll just sit here and give up hope in my life. And I'll just, I'll just sit here and be codependent on Pal 2 because they're the truth seeker and they're the ones that liberate me, and I'll just use them to get, like, I'll use their clarity and consciousness to attract people. Like, people will literally, these are people, this is the matrix, that these are a lot of soapboxes and think pieces, and a lot of these, women who have been rejected by men, who, they start a social media account and start all these think pieces, start posting all these quotes and things of that nature, and really, is the reason why they don't have a good life, and why they're not respected either, right? They won't be respected no matter how many think pieces, because we all, especially I'm hearing the investors and the leadership and the elite society, they all know that you're the one that everybody watches anyway. So it's like the men, especially the men will know that, like, you are the it girl, and that you are the one that everybody watches, and they want to be like you. They want to seem like they have the same approach to life. They want to seem like they have the philosophy and the religion. They want to seem like they have that they're connected to truth, and that they're conscious, when really they're just kids. They don't have an understanding of freedom, for one, because they are not owning anything, right? They've never had to, like, they're just, a lot of them are still, they are immaturated, or they were stunted in life. They were failures, systemic failures in life. They have no rights, no freedoms. For real, some of them went to prison, and they lost their right to vote, or they lost certain freedoms, or they lost a lot in their life. And they see that your approach to life was a dedication and devotion to spirit, and they just keep coming around you to get more consciousness and try to go hop on a soapbox or a think piece to mimic your mind and speech. But all of the men that they think that they're attracting, they already know that everybody watches you. They already know that you are, that's why you're dangerously rich and unapologetically magical in this bitch. And they know that they don't really study the philosophy. They know that they don't really study the religion, that they're not really, that they're just projecting your image, okay? And they escape their responsibilities, and they won't find their own identity, okay? So, LOL friends, what are people realizing about you? So, yeah, people are realizing, through these, I'm hearing these social connections. Maybe these are even like, I don't know, it feels like men that you may date, or men who just like to hang around you, or any kind of social connection that you may have. They'll go off and have, like, when they come around you, they get all this consciousness, right? And you help them include, and you help them focus their attention on, spiritual, that helps them, maintain a spiritual conviction and a dedication. And then they'll go around to all these other, other women who, might start a social media account to chase clout, or they'll go around to these clout chasers, or they'll go around to these women who just, or these other people who just don't compare to you, and they just are not the life of the party. They're just not, change seeking and curious, and they can't speak the way that you speak. They're not well versed the way that you are. They don't have a well establishment, and they're definitely not respected. So it'll always be like, they feel very judged by you, because they know that you are like the standard that everybody wants to, like, that you're the standard that everybody's trying to get to, that you're everybody's target, like, no matter what field that they're in, because some of you guys are so well versed about everything. You're so educated, especially when they see your degree, or they see, how your success, and that you've actually, like, your approach to life got you connected to a higher truth that that helped you address your personal freedoms. And they just feel so stunted, like children, like they can't do anything. They feel like they're just gripping onto you, or some of them, they keep touching you. They might touch you, or they keep, reaching out to you, and they're just not interesting enough, especially the ones who keep projecting you. It's like they always are, everyone is seeing how codependent these people are on you when they get up and make a think piece or make a dance about your life, or like they literally, like, they see something, you were being the life of the party and having so much fun and being passionate because you're this monk, right? Your devotion and dedication is it's a passionate life, and they're just like these conventional mundane people who just hop on trends, or they just want to, they see that you're the trend that's new and popping and buzzing, and try to ride clout from your name, or try to act like they have the same approach to life to get attention. Okay. But all of the investors and the people who have the wealth they're not respecting them, and they're not getting any funding. So that'd be funny as hell. So they just be seeing that you get coming around, especially when you catch them on a think piece or a soapbox. It's like something where you see them and you see how they have been so, they've been searching for information so hard and so attached, and they just feel so judged by you. It's like something when you realize them realizing you put them on notice that I'm noticing you too, okay? And you let them know you're on the psychic advantage, and that you're not becoming a predicament of power. So all of this is just a waste of time, and you just pass your negative judgment on them as you sit around as the life of the party. Like, people are like, these women, a lot of women, or same genders, are realizing that you're the life of the party, and they're just the ones that they have to copy and follow your trends. Yikes. You bitches ain't living right. Yeah, that strategy that they were using, to act like they had the same approach to life, has been dismantled, okay? With the Tower. It's like, especially if this involved men who may have been listening to their judgments or, opinions, and believing, seeing, people, this realization is helping people see beyond the illusion of this matrix. These children that get up and they might go viral, or they might, like, what I'm saying, they might have some type of, they might get some type of, reward, or they find some type of incentive to express a judgment or opinion about you that's not valid. Or they'll express, like, they might have this life that might look like they have freedoms, but it's really just like a projection of you. This person is realizing this about you. This is someone who they were fighting to the bitter end, okay, to I don't know, to appear spiritual is what I'm hearing. Okay, I'm something where they were not able to form an establishment. Through all this, I'm hearing that they kept fighting and attacking with all of these invalid opinions and judgments that the men did not agree with. Okay, a lot of them, they were strategizing something with this resistance to I don't know, to project you, or to justify why they were trying to compete with your establishment. But it's something where people with this Tower, they may have gotten this stark realization, help people understand that this person was a strategy, that this was not their actual approach to their life, that they're actually not, a believer in freedom of religion, that that they're not able to exercise their freedom of speech, that they're not in the press, that they're not assembling anything, that this person, I'm hearing they were just trying to, I'm hearing that these people have been trying to petition with some type of grievances, expressing their religions, utilizing their freedom of speech, utilizing their press. And, they were just, I'm getting that these people who keep, I don't know, they keep trying to come around for a social, or they keep calling you, they keep making think pieces and soapboxes about you. It's like you share something with them. You share something, like it's something that you do very quick-wittedly with the Tower that helps people discern a resistance to the truth. Okay, especially these people who have been trying to, form a redress of grievances about your internal quest for the meaning in life. It's like something where they really want to abridge your freedoms. They really want to, they like with this Five of Wands, they really want to stop you from expressing. But I don't know if this makes sense, y'all, but it's something that you do in a quick-witted way that helps them realize that this was just a strategy, that this was just a resistance, that this is not true, right? That these, don't buy into the imaginary beef that somebody made up to justify why they were competing with your establishment, or, don't get caught up in some type of illusion of good habits through short form video content, or be able to follow a logical sequencing with these think pieces, and with these, be able to, don't fall into a resistance of all these different opinions and judgments that are not valid, because a lot of them are opinions and judgments that really are not respectable, not following a logical sequence. They might just this is sensationalized press, this is propaganda, this is things that want to abridge your freedoms. A lot of these people, it's and then something that you do in a quick-witted way, helps people slash through and see beyond the illusion that they were trying to put up, because they were just in a grievance because of a personal matter. Okay, LOL, Power One. That's so funny. People are realizing, okay, I think the people who are doing this, they're really lacking closure from how they lost. Okay, I'm hearing that they lost and they failed at getting respect, and they failed at getting respect, and they failed at maintaining a well establishment, and that this Five of Wands was a strategy of, of trying to, have a grievance, trying to share grievances, right, through these different social connections. And I think that the collective has in general been lacking closure around this fight, where people have been trying to obstruct freedoms, right? This is not a think piece. This is not a matter of your opinion. Especially with the First Amendment coming out here, these people are lacking closure that their strategies came to light. Their strategies to inhibit your freedom came to light. And that's why everybody's watching you, because they watched you grow a consciousness. They realized that this was a dedication to your spirit, where you had to fight back or defend yourself against people who had a grievance with you for practicing and exercising your freedom of religion, exercising your freedom of speech, exercising your rights, and that they were just trying to hide some type of pain and shame, or trying to escape some type of reality where there's a lot of incontrovertible evidence of the contrary. And this person, they're really lacking closure that they were not, and they feel so judged by you. And so that's why they've been trying to throw up a lot of opinions that are not valid, because anytime they can't, it's something that you've done And, you know, the way that you have your consciousness of your rights and freedoms, you let people know that, like, you cannot pass a judgment about someone violating my freedoms and rights or something like that. And this fundamentally, when people realize that this was a violation of your rights, this fundamentally altered and changed their understanding of what has been going on in this fight and division. That this strategy of expressing opinions is just to try to create more division. It was just a strategy to separate you, or to let people, or to like motivate people to support an injustice. When people realized that this was a violation of rights, that was a stark realization, and it put an ending to the fight. You know, it made a lot of these people feel like an idiot. It made a lot of these people feel like shit when they realized that, like, all they were working so hard to fight and throw up opinions and, you know, try to stop you from getting justice in a situation, or to stop. They were trying so hard with the Seven of Wands, with the Seven of Swords. They were hiding that this was really pain and shame. And so when they got this stark realization that this was an abridging of speech and press and religion, that this was no valid opinion that we can find to justify this violation. Okay, there's no opinion, there's no think piece, we don't give a fuck. That's not what the court of law is saying. That's not what the research papers are saying. Okay, this was just a strategy, you know, of argumentation, and this was a defense mechanism to avoid and deny that you are really a child, that you're really not connected to a higher truth in mind, you know, in truth in life, that you're not really broad-minded, that you don't study philosophy and religion, that you're not actually approaching your life in a successful way, that you're just a fight of somebody who wants to stop. Like, all these opinions and judgments are just trying to stop us from having a consciousness, stop us from having a protective awareness around something that has been inhibiting our freedom. That's what I'm saying, Pal 2. Let me know how this resonates down in the comments below. I love you, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye. Hi, Pal 3. Last but not least, welcome to your selection. You chose the bow. So let's get into it. What are people realizing about you, Pal 3? Okay, what are people realizing about you? I'm hearing something. This could have been a realization that happened after a reconciliation with a romantic partner, divine counterpart. Okay. This could be a Pisces, Cancer, Scorpio, Gemini, Leo. So, what are people realizing about you, Pal 3? What are people realizing about you? What are people realizing about you, Pal 3? We have wounded child. Okay, so people see that you could possibly have a wound from a relationship in your childhood, or a dysfunctional relationship possibly from your childhood, or when you were in a less developed state that was dysfunctional. And I'm hearing that it was a dysfunctional relationship with an authority. This person, they see that you have been very like you've left. Okay, and they see that you are unwilling to, I don't know if you're unwilling, but there's like, these are people that you have left. These relationships were dysfunctional, or you found out that there was an abuse of authority, or this was, you know, you left somebody because you left something, or a job or a relationship because, or community, because it was a spiritual system that didn't serve you. And, you know, that you said that these people were realizing that this was dysfunctional, like you rebelled in a, you know, in a dysfunctional relationship with the boss. Okay, people are realizing that you were just a child, okay? And they feel like now that you don't want to have any relationships. Like, they're realizing that that all of your relationships are really dysfunctional, or that you just don't desire them anymore, is what I'm hearing. They feel like you don't desire them anymore because you haven't been able to forgive, okay? You haven't been able to forgive. And it is, I think that what happens in a situation is that you become, I don't know, I don't want to say embittered, but I think that you are taken through, you are abused. I think that you truly do, you truly do get abused. And I don't think that all of these relationships are childhood woundings. I think that people are, what they want to highlight to you is that you are just resisting forgiveness. They feel like, and you're mature, like they feel like you should be a lot more forgiving, but they see instead of forgiving, you just leave, I think, okay? So these are people who are asking to come back, or they're asking to reconcile, or some of these people, they were not able to communicate, or they were just, it was a very dysfunctional relationship, that, the way that they were so incooperative. It's like something where they really reflect to you aggression, and, or, they reflect to aggression, or maybe this is even passive aggression. They're not, that they're just like defensive, or you might even be left in a situation where you need to stand up, or you need to confront an authority because somebody is so dysfunctional in a relationship dynamic with you. And some of you guys, you feel like you work so hard. You work so hard to make it work. Like, you try so hard to make it work, and they're just like uncontrollably aggressive and defensive. It's like something where I don't know, these feel like more romantic partners that, like, they see that you won't forgive them because you feel like their anger and aggression and defensiveness is out of control and uncalled for. So you just like, they feel like, LOL, they feel like it's just, you blame it all on your childhood wounds. You be like, oh, well, it must be some childhood wounds I'm not dealing with, and just like, whatever. But I think that, like, they really realize that you are not moving on through forgiveness, that you are, you could be pulling from this bitter place, or, that you are moving on, that you left, is what I'm hearing. So, I'm hearing that you left someone who had an authority position in your life, and they see that you went off and you were very prosperous after that. People are realizing that, like, after rejecting a spiritual system that didn't serve you, that you have been extremely prosperous. Like, you have this, like, you're always, you look so well, like you have a sense of well-being, and that you do everything that you want to do, and you have so much fun and joy and celebration of the abundance that your life has provided you since leaving, or rejecting and rebelling, rejecting, rebelling, or leaving a dysfunctional relationship with someone who had an authority, okay? Perhaps an authority, or just a romantic partner, okay? And that inspired you to, like, yeah, they're realizing that something inspired you to fill your cup. Something inspired you to rebuild your home, to restructure your home, that makes you feel prosperous, okay? Let's keep going. What are people realizing about you? House 3. What are people realizing about you? They realize that your cup runneth over, okay? Your cup runneth over, okay? So, they see that you're very prosperous, Okay, after all these dysfunctional relationships, perhaps. Okay. What are people realizing about you? What are people realizing about you? How? 3. Yeah, I'm definitely getting a situation where someone became pushy, demanding, and overbearing, and this was the, this dysfunctional relationship. They feel like you lost, not you lost, but they feel like you left, and didn't forgive. Okay, they feel like you didn't forgive, that you held on to resentment. But I'm also getting that this is, the people that are realizing something about you through the 12th house. This was a big theme in the beginning of Pile 2, is that, this involves shadow aspects, invisible enemies that are, doing something fraudulent. I'm getting that people are realizing that some invisible enemies have been doing something fraudulent with you, and they failed, is what I'm hearing. Okay, they feel like they see that you rebelled against some type of system of fraud, in a commercial way, and you have been deciding where to go from there. Okay, it's like it's like something where you are especially with prosperity coming out, you were successful in busting some fraud, and you did it in a commercial way. And so there's a lot of you guys in this right now. You guys are reviewing, you're reviewing what has been done, or you have been, that this something about your life, your prosperity inspires people to do something fraudulent. They will try to inhibit your freedom. They become dangerous when they see that you're on a commercial. When they see your stuff, they will definitely, they see that becomes very dangerous, right? When they see your stuff, it becomes very dangerous because you look like a commercial. You walk around, you look like a commercial. You walk around, you look, so good. So you will attract a lot of fraudulent people, okay? And so people have realized that you're always in a karmic cycle with a fraud, okay? Some of them could be realizing that you're coping with a failure, with some type of fraud, and this is like, and that this, like, you haven't, because, like, or something was, I don't know, they see that, like, a dysfunctional relationship that was fraudulent, okay? They've been realizing how you've been coping with this relationship, how it inspired you to fill your cup, how it inspired you to tap into the heart and the seat of the soul. And now they see your prosperity on commercial. They're watching your heart, body, mind, and soul sing with joy, and it's like you're celebrating your prosperity so much in front of these frauds, and it makes them, like, and your commercials, like, your prosperity on commercials make them feel like such a fraud, like, especially the ones who they really be trying to act like they happy, y'all, especially, like, partners who went back to their ex, or they had a karmic partner on loop. It's like they really try to act like they're happy with these people, when really it's a fraudulent relationship. That's fake love. That's money. That's just for sex, or that's just for money, or that's, they really are in denial about, an ex rejecting them. A lot of them, their ex will just take the money and just sit there and pretend with them. Like, a lot of these people, they really are rejected and abandoned, and that they're in this karmic loop, doing something fraudulent where they pretend to be prosperous, right? Some of you guys, this is a relationship that broke down, or it really, like, when you realize that they were doing something fraudulent with the karmic, it really, broke down the trust in the relationship, and they see that you have just been working to restore yourself, and you have been going commercial, possibly exposing a fraud, but just, like, your life in general is just, is like, there's so much glamour and beauty, perhaps, or there's just so much prosperity to be seen on your commercial. It makes these people who are realizing it makes them feel like a fraud when they sit up online pretending to have good habits, through short form video content, pretending that they're prosperous, right? When they're really having like all these dysfunctional relationships, they're really not successful. Like you being successful on commercial, especially with exposing this fraud and deception, it just like, it really heightens people's awareness of what, like a subtlety of what makes you successful versus what makes them a failure, right? You'll see like your prosperity being so abundant, it being so many different forms of prosperity as well. It just makes everybody else look like they're not so prosperous, right? People are realizing that you have had a lot of dysfunctional relationships because people become so obsessed with your stuff and your prosperity that they try to inhibit, they start doing something fraudulent to inhibit your freedom, okay, or to inhibit your prosperity. And that'd be so spooky and scary. Like that's what's really going on out here, y'all. And all different, like this could be so far as like some type of corporate corruption, but this could literally just be the fraudulent people, the fake friends, fake love, straight up to my face, right? Like that's so scary, especially when they see that you're on a commercial or that you're popular, that you have clout, right? Like this isn't it crazy that it inspires people to act so like buck wild when they see your stuff and your commercialization and prosperity? This is really a reflection of everything, all of your abundance after freeing yourself from a karmic loop of people who couldn't prioritize you or who they couldn't forgive. And so it could have left you with a bitterness, it could have left you in resentment, but it just inspired you to fill your cup even more, and it inspire you to try to understand that this was not a childhood wounding that was causing, the dysfunctional relationships, that this is actually like people having a visceral reaction to your belongings and your prosperity, and that this was not your fault. This was not your own childhood wounding. This is literally people who see your commercial, see your house, see that you're a success, and they come around for a party, but they're really a shadow attachment looking to inhibit, undermine, have a secret, or they're really dangerous people, right? And so some of you guys, people are realizing that you got a lot of trust issues after this fraud, okay? Especially romantic partners that be trying to pretend like, they be trying to hide their anger and aggression. Like imagine your romantic partner and they're sitting there growing, like out of control, seeing your body, mind, heart, soul, and spirit sing with joy. That's very discouraging, right? And a lot of you leave the relationships and you force them to watch you on a commercial, okay? You force them to watch you fill your cup back up again. You force them to watch you get back to you and leave them in a reversal, leave them in a karmic loop where they're pretending to have prosperity because they were so offended and egoic around you as an authority position, you as the prosperity, you as, they don't want to surrender to you. They don't want to trust you because of your commercialization and all your stuff, right? It's always about your stuff and not like, it's always about something that like, something that they're doing. That's secret, right? They're being fraudulent, or some of them are ill. Okay, some of them are ill, but a lot of these people are really suffering, holding deep and dark secrets, hiding who they truly are. Some of them are going to prison, getting hospitalized, getting expelled from their institutions, and it's like you're on commercial with this prosperity and hard-earned merit, and they're doing something in the shadows and the secrets, committing fraud, getting expelled for plagiarism, and they just like, oh my God, it's so hard when they realize that, like, whatever they're realizing makes them have a resentment towards you that they cannot release. Especially some of these romantic partners where you go off and you continue to live your big, beautiful, commercialized life. They become so resentful because they get stuck in a cycle of suffering and neglect, right? They're really, you know, or they do something and become they're in a karmic loop where they'll become an invisible enemy, or they'll link up with other enemies, right? They hide the fact that they're jealous of your house and your life, and you know how they're not able to hold themselves to your high standards. Like they're not able to be on commercial. They're not, you know, they're not prosperous enough is what I'm hearing, or something like that. Yeah, but I definitely feel like, you know, people are realizing a relationship that failed, and like it may have happened on a commercial. It may have happened publicly. And they see that this person was fraudulent. Okay, they said that this person was fraudulent, and they see that you had to recover and restore yourself after, you know, working through something subconscious with this person. How you've lost security, you've lost wealth, you know, because of this fraud. Okay. And that, you know, you are like, a lot of them, they see that you were the ones that went off and got successful, and they were just stuck in a karmic loop of pretending to be prosperous, of shadow attachments or a fraud, right? That like you got your, you know, you got your comeuppance is what I'm hearing, something where you surrender to a process to be getting happy, and it just blossomed from there, right? Okay. You know, a lot of people are realizing that you're so happy, excuse me, a lot of people are realizing that you're so prosperous now, but you still have dysfunctional relationships, or you still not, you know, you really, your relationships are causing you to surrender and trust and go with the flow. You know, because, you know, it's just like you don't have any, like, you don't have any, I don't know, they feel like you don't have any functioning relationships, and they feel like this is really you still holding on to a resentment about past failures that prevent you from having a healthy relationship, that you haven't been open to learning and forgiveness about this fraudulent situation with someone, that you will not forgive them. Okay, they're saying that you will not forgive them, that you left, or you're just going to, like, you're not going to give them, you know, you're not sympathizing with them. You're just going to put them in prison for fraud is what I'm hearing. Okay, some of you guys are trying to decide what to do with this person who was committing fraud, because they failed, right? They definitely failed, and it happened in a commercial way is what I'm hearing. And so some of you guys are, there's a lot of damage that was done here. You appreciate this situation for help inspiring you to, you know, fill your cup and giving you a self-love activation. But this fraud has just, like, it's been so much resentment and bitterness around what you've had to sacrifice, right, to become successful after these people committed fraud against the child is what I'm hearing. Some of you guys were just a child, and they were committing fraud against you to stop you from moving. And some of you, they didn't want you to be commercialized. They wanted you to have a shadow band account. They didn't want your truths to come out, okay? And a lot of you guys, you did anyway, and like, you realized that, like, whoever this fraud was, they failed. You know, they tried to be invisible, but you were able to, I'm hearing something where people are realizing that you were able to discern a fraud, and now you have been deciding what has been done, and you're trying to decide where to go from here. This person, I'm hearing somebody was really dangerous, or this person was really sorrowful, and they see that you will not forgive them, and you're putting them in jail for this. Okay, they think that, I don't know why some people think that your forgiveness means that they're not going to be upheld in a court of law. Forgiveness is for your peace of mind, but we're not, especially if they were doing something to put you to, like, that was dangerous, that put you in danger. We are absolutely, we're going to just put that in, like, no sympathy. I, like, cold as ice in this courtroom, LOL. If they were committing fraud against you and putting you in danger, there's no, oh, let's just kiss and make up, you can come over. This person is losing full security within each other's lives. This person, because of this fraud, they are not a part of your life anymore. A lot of them, this also means they're losing their home, they're losing their establishment, they're losing their platform, they're losing their children is what I'm hearing. Some of them, their children going into foster care. This person is really coping with a failure, right? to stop you. I'm getting that the failure was that they were committing fraud to stop you from becoming commercial. And they were acting immature, and they were acting childish, right? They're realizing that this person was like they were old enough to know better, and they like everybody's just like, oh my god, we wish that they wouldn't have done that, because this broke the community so bad when they were exposed for this fraud on this commercial, that they were just attacking your prosperity. You know, people were very offended by this, and they're having a big reversal in life. And I'm getting that some of you guys, through many different phases and cycles of looping through people attacking your prosperity and fortune, you have been learning about the invisible and unseen forces of fraud, and restoring your trust in life again, to try to have healthy relationships and functional relationships, because you've been in karmic loops where people cannot have a functioning relationship with you, especially when they realize that you are commercial. Okay, so people think that you're not forgiving this person when you say you're going to put them in prison, is what I'm hearing. Okay, people say, but it's like no, like this isn't forgiveness, because this person they're still in this loop of doing something fraudulent. They're still with their ex, pretending to be happy. They're still leaving you in neglect and sorrow. They're still committing crimes, or trying to. This is really like, they failed, right? They're just a failure. And they see that you have gone off and left, and did not let this stop you from trusting and being happy. A lot of these people, we cannot say, like, forgiveness is not allowing them to continue to commit crimes. Forgiveness is not turning a blind eye to the crime. Just because you're prosperous now, we haven't forgotten the damage, right? And a lot of what, through the 12th house, a lot of you guys are assessing the damage, and you are not okay with these violations, right? They see that you're successful and commercial now, but in the past, this person who was abusing their authority, this person who was a spiritual system that was fraudulent, that didn't serve us, they started to justify their behavior because of a childhood wound. I don't think your childhood wound and mental illness is going to uphold in the court of law. Unfortunately, that's not forgiveness. Okay, so let's wrap, friends. What are people realizing about you? Yeah, we can have compassion, but this isn't, fraud is not empathy. Okay, so tell me about this situation. These people are, because of this fraud, they want you to forgive and make up, and they don't want anybody to go to prison. They don't want anybody to leave, but they really should have thought about that before. You know what I'm saying? Before they did that, friend. It's like the only reason why they feel bad now is because it was exposed as fraud on a commercial, right? That's the only reason why they feel bad now, is because they failed at committing fraud against you. But what if they had been successful? Some of you guys, you wouldn't be here. You wouldn't be alive, right? Because somebody wanted to stop you from expressing, and to stop you from having a good life, when you're somebody who worked so hard for this, to heal childhood wounds, and they're just someone who keeps making excuses as to why they keep acting from a childhood wound. You're a grown-ass adult, and grown-ass adults get persecuted for their behavior if they cannot control themselves. If you're a danger and a threat to humanity and society in my life, then I don't have any kind of, I don't have any kind of, I can't work with that. You know what I'm saying? You're committing crimes and doing something dangerous. That's not something that we cannot negotiate with this terroristic behavior. They're done. Okay, that's done. So, and also I'm getting romantic relationships are realizing that you're not coming back, right? Or especially the ones who were not able to release resentment, you realize that they were a fraud, right? Fighting about something, angry and aggressive. Okay. Okay, so let's wrap friends. Yeah, this is a canceled friend. Okay, this feels like a Cancer, Scorpio, Pisces. Okay, they're a failure. You're not moving forward. You know, they're not, they don't have any goals, and they're not successful on commercials is what I'm hearing. Things definitely fizzled out. I'm getting, especially if these were just friends, these friends were fake friends. Some of them, they were trying to cause you to, you know, have to be a failure, and that didn't work. And so they're just having to walk away disappointed. Okay, things are not moving forward with this person, and you know, you guys are emotionally balanced as you, some of you guys, as you persecute them. Unfortunately, this person was never going to be following through with these commercials. They were never going to be publishing. They were never going to be a sensation. They were never, you know, they didn't even know where to start to become to be prosperous, because they're dysfunctional and haven't been forgiving. You know, they've been making, especially some of you guys have been projecting. They have been projecting their childhood wounds onto you, and you don't even know them. I'm getting a stranger that was violating you because of some childhood wound. You know, they were like stalking you, harassing you, unable to control their behavior and reactions to your prosperity because they just felt like such a loser at life. No goals, no methods. And they took a risk, and there are serious consequences for the risk is what I'm hearing. Thank you so much, Pal 3. Let me know how that resonates, and I'll see y'all in the next video.